How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing very good. Hey, everybody, it's Zach and Emily here with Compassionate Citizens. Sorry we're a little bit late. Computer issues. Um, who's heard this before? Raise your hand. Who's heard Zach say it before? Raise your hand. Who thinks that Zach creates most of this problem? Raise your hand. Okay, me. But anyway, we welcome you to our show. It is the 17th of May. I cannot believe, Emily, that we're already halfway through this month and they just don't seem to be stopping, do they?
No, I know, right? I thought it just started.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So, here in the Clayton household, we've got some great news. We got our first placement with us, and uh, we're very, very proud that we have a young man that has joined our family, at least for the time being, in foster care, and we're having a great time with that, learning quite a bit. So. He's a young man who works really hard. Emily, I'm going to tell you something. He does have a little bit of autism, but I'm going to tell you something. This kid knows everything there is to know about baseball, the current game. He sits there and he can tell you who's played where, what their pitch, what their favorite pitch is, everything about him. So, but yeah, it's amazing learning from somebody else. So, But hey, everybody, we do have a recorded video by our friend Sarah. She's going to be joining us here pretty soon, but she has a recorded video from last night that she's going to be sharing with us, one of her very best friends in the world. And they've got a wonderful program that has to do with veterans. So we're really looking forward to hearing about what they've got going on, what uh, um, they're going to do to help out our veterans. We also want to make sure that everybody understands that Hope Stock is still going on, and we need your help with this. We need everything from volunteers to sponsors. And every time that you sponsor for Hope Fest, Hope Stock, Hope Stock, we here at the Pack Channel are going to give you a little additional pub because you deserve it. And Coriander, I'm feeling a little bit better. So thank you, my friend. I appreciate it. I had a pretty bad headache moment a little bit earlier, but we do want to let you know that this show is brought to you by Community Pay It Forward. Community Pay It Forward. We are the easiest way ever, ever to donate because all you have to do is find a partner and shop. And one of the great causes that you can help is our friends at Project Diehard. That last little one, we've got a lot of exciting news. We are going to be bringing you the Dare to Care shop. It's the Community Dare to Care shop. It is a dollar store who cares a whole lot more. That's right. We have access to a complete dollar store here at Community Pay It Forward. And every time you make a purchase through Community Dare to Care shop, a portion of your funds goes to Veterans Community Project, and you get to choose one other option to give a portion of your purchase to them to help support them. This is something that is we've teamed up with Mr. Z from Z World Webs, and we're gonna take the world by storm. Um, it looks like we're going to be dealing with jewelry here pretty soon. So, right in time for the wedding, right, Emily? Yay. Jewelry. Yay. So, but
Yeah, perfect timing.
yeah, perfect timing for that. Yep.
I'm sure Adrian,
Yeah.
I'm sure Adrian will be very happy.
Yeah, I'm going to have to sedate her so see the web page, but I don't think that's going to work very well. So, hey, we want to bring to you guys a little bit of a message here. I want to introduce you guys to it's called the Community Dare to Care Stand Up Centers. And I don't know how many of you guys out here who have ever heard of a stand down. And a stand down is where you help U.S. veterans um, go through a lot of the things, and generally they happen twice a year in selected neighborhoods, to where you offer our veterans clothing, you offer them health care of some sort, you offer them haircuts and other things, and food, and try to help them with new blankets and stuff like that when they're individuals who are homeless or struggling out there. Well, Community Pay It Forward is going to one up uh, the um, the stand downs, and we're going to create what's called the Stand Up Center. And this Stand Up Center is going to be available for anyone who needs assistance. It's going to house clothing. It's going to house computers for training for resumes and some job training. We're looking to do all sorts of things. We learned the mission of trying to do some of this computer work from our great friend here, Emily Gomer. She was kind of telling us a little bit about how she used to be with the program that was talking about offering computer labs to people who are looking for jobs. And we think that this is a perfect time to get this started. So, but we are in the middle of trying to put together our very first stand down, and we would love to have your help. Um, and we do have ourselves one of them there, fancy little Indiegogo pages, and your help would be very, very important in making this happen. We cannot do anything until we get our first $5,000, and while $5,000 seems like a heck of a lot of money, it's truly not in the in the long, the large scheme of things, because wow. I don't. Oh, this is Fiverr. I don't even care about Fiverr. I don't even know what I just did. So I was trying to find my Indiegogo page, and it sent me somewhere else. Sent me to Fiverr. Like, I don't even know what Fiverr is, to be honest with you. So, but the $5,000 is going to help us get some of the it'll help us get into a building. It'll help us take and start constructing it the way that we need it. It'll help us get our 501c3. And most important, and folks, I cannot tell you how difficult this last year was, because go ahead and come on in if you'd like, because this year was the first time in over 27 years my family was unable to give food and toys to families during the holiday season. We don't ever want that to happen again, so we want to get ahead of this. And the only way for this to happen is to start with the Stand Up Center. So we're going to ask you to please join us and check out the Stand Up Centers, what we're trying to do. And when you join us, you will be rewarded, because we are going to be giving gifts to people. So we're going to ask you to visit our wonderful little Indiegogo page right here in the comments. maybe. Okay, and we'll even put a banner up here, because we know that you like to type. So there it is. There's the banner. And you can help us by getting this going. Okay, the Indiegogo page looks something like this. Maybe. And it has this wonderful little video on it, and this will explain a little bit more. Community Dare to Care and our wonderful partners would like to share with you. You know what? I realized what I did, and so now I need to do it again. You need to stop now. Geez, now it won't stop. But we're going to do this again. Like, this is my first time ever doing something like this. So, but I forgot to share the words with you because, that's who I am. So anyway, here we go. This is about our Community Dare to Care stand-up centers. Community Dare to Care and our wonderful partners would like to share with you our plans for the Community Dare to Care stand-up centers. A physical location for hope, a physical location for chance. We will offer housewares, clothing, furniture, outreach, friendship, and so much more, which are services we already offer. But now we're looking to add other services like computer training, 6-hour computers for online employment, food services, self-care facilities, bike, tent, air mattress repair, medical and dental, and other services from the community to the community for the better of the community, helping families who need assistance or people looking to better their situations and just need a chance without judgment or commitment required. While some of these items are now available, with your help, this facility can start here in northern Colorado and soon be a mainstay for communities everywhere, allowing people the helping hand they need, giving them a second chance they never had until now. But this can only be accomplished with your help. We need you. Find our campaign on Indiegogo or donate directly to us. Your donation can help us take our first step. Look for us, Community Pay It Forward, on Indiegogo or on our website for our job form. Please help us by donating today, because nothing can happen before we raise the first $5,000. Community Pay It Forward would like to remind you, no one needs to go it alone when we all come together. So that's what the Community Dare to Care stand-up centers are looking like, and we really hope that we can get your support. Is that thunder? Wow, it might actually rain in Colorado. That would be shocking. It never rains here, apparently. We've been on fire for like 5 straight years, so I'm glad to hear that. Once again, we're being joined by great friend, supreme goddess of engineering and producing, Emily Gomer. And Emily, you have a friend with us. Who is this friend? Well, Randy, how are you doing?
I'm fine. I'm glad I could see and hear anybody. I tried a couple of times the last couple of weeks and nobody could see or hear me. So yeah, it's good to be on.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to get everything worked out. I know with the PAC channel, we've been trying to go through different things here to make sure that we're bringing everybody on and they're having the best experience they can. And usually the best way for them to do that is for me to shut up and let you talk. So you know what? We want to learn about what you do. What is Randy Lou Pastels and Watercolor?
Yes, and I apologize for the background. I have a new computer with not everything set up on it, but I'm the designer and artist for the company's stationery and Giftware products. And we offer museum quality stationery and giftware items, including premium porcelain items, to retailers and businesses as client and employee gifts. And our stationery can be made in the UK for shipment to Australia as affordably in the US and Europe and Canada and various places. And our other products can be shipped anywhere. And if people want a product we don't have, we try to accommodate them. Sorry, my glasses look like they're off, and I don't think they're this off, but I tend to look really strange online lately, and I apologize.
I've got palsy in one of my eyes, and every once in a while you'll see my eye close on me, and I'll have that same feeling. It'll, my face will feel like this, and I know it's not really like that, but it'll just feel that way. So I sympathize with you. Do you guys carry like parchment paper and specialty papers like that?
It's not specialty. I mean, everything features our designs, so there can't be anything blank. But if there's something you want, like I had somebody a while ago that wanted these prints, which was hard to do. You have to search around for the gel prints, but they did. And so even though we don't publicize, if someone wants something like that, I have a place that we can deal with now. So generally, we tend to have, in other words, people are interested in the artwork. It's randylouart.com. So I'm down to one hand. I had a PRP less than a week ago, and I finally got over this fever, and I'm kind of one-handed most of the time now. But let me I will put my information in. And sometimes people, there's a product they want, they say, hey, can you do this for us? And we'll try, like I did with this other person. Prints, sometimes the prices vary, and they can be, high, even if you're not selling it to somebody else. Let me put it in here. Sorry.
Oh, no.
I lost myself. Just a minute. Just a moment here. Let me get back here. Sorry. Sorry about that. I was using the right hand too much. And I'm right-handed. Okay, so I'm just putting myself out there.
And it looks to me like I may have found something that looks familiar to you. So this is your website, correct?
Yes, it is.
All right. Well, let's pull this up to where, there we go. And now we can see it a little bit better. And this is all you can find it at Randy L-U Art, randylouart.com. And what kind of artists do you have that you can specialize in? Like,
the art is my art. I'm the
designer.
It's
all your art. Okay.
That's what makes it very difficult. So I was working very hard. I was offline a little bit before my procedure because I was told I cannot do any art for at least a month. So,
oh no.
Yeah. So, I don't spend the whole year on it because you can't run a business if you're doing art all the time. It's very difficult, but I was kind of off a bit. Try to have at least a couple dozen things for the year. So on the artwork. And the greeting cards are, for example, if people want designs that are in the collections that are not here, these are popular designs, but things come up every year that we work on. That's not a problem. So, and we do keep some items in stock. There are people who, it's only 25 minimum of the cards, but if somebody said, hey, can I'd like, 12 or 10 or whatever, we try to accommodate people. And on the art bookmarks, because they're very popular and very easy to send, we have a number of designs that we keep in stock. So if someone wants, 3 or something, we really try to accommodate, make everybody happy.
Wow. Social distancing greeting card. What was this one? What was the inspiration for this one?
Well, that's from the 2020 collection, and obviously with the pandemic. But yeah, so I've one. It's called like Rock in Quarantine, and the ones done in 2020, you can see many of them have a blank background on the pastels. That's when things were very bad. Rough time in Spain. A number of them. I like the Alhambra, the General Leaf Gardens of the Alhambra, so that inspired a lot of my art. Designs. Many of them were inspired from my travels. I have not traveled in the pandemic. I'm very I know that if anybody were to get long COVID, it'd be me. So basically using photos from relatives, other photos, in addition, to going back to some other photos that I have. So,
well,
yeah.
go ahead, please.
Sure. Yep.
A lot of this is just beautiful. I love the way it's all put together. And how long does it take for somebody to order this and get it shipped to them?
Well, this is most of the sales are done directly through me because the shipping and everything, especially in pandemic, it depends, what you're ordering. But if it's something we have, let's say they want art bookmarks and those designs that we have, they can get shipped out within 24 to 48 hours. So if it's something that has to go, it could be a couple weeks if it's on the stationery. Let's say they want a set of 25 cards and they come from the distributor, that's how it is. If they're in Australia, where we have the same pricing as for the US, because they're made in the UK and it's very affordable because their shipping rates are better, then, it could be a couple weeks, maybe a little longer. Really, what I would do is just contact the company and see what it is at the time, since we're still in a pandemic. We try to get things out as promptly as possible. We have extra tote bags in stock if people want that design, if they want a different design, and the bags really don't tear. We've had people, businesses coming back to us and saying, those tote bags are marvelous. They just don't tear. They're not like those really thick, soft ones from like Trader Joe's where, and they're also, the products that we have are that where they're imprinted it's full color imprinting, which is a much more complicated process than it is. Most of the tote bags you see are like 1 to 8 colors, but this would be all the colors, and things can be taken out of pictures and so forth. And yeah, these canvas, these are one. We're only selling the canvas bookmarks retail because they're so expensive to buy. We're barely making anything on it, but they're a nice product. But so we have them out there. This is, made in the US, which you don't find very often on porcelain items. And that's why they have that minimum for a company. If it's a medium, larger size company, they make great employee gifts or client gifts, very high quality. And that's something we don't keep in stock because there is that minimum with the place that does it. Very specialized. I think they've done stuff for the White House. It's very...
Wow. Well, this is all beautiful. I think that this is a wonderful, wonderful program that you have. And we'd like to bring in somebody else now who's got a wonderful program going on, almost in the same genre. She writes books. So there's artwork included in it, but the artwork's a little bit different. We'd like to take and introduce now Marianne of Waikiki. How are you doing, Marianne?
Aloha and hola. I'm Marianne of Waikiki. Can you hear me okay?
We
Yes.
can hear you.
Awesome. Yeah, well, thank you for the introduction. I'm Marianne of Waikiki. I'm the author and applicant developer of the Acts of Kindness series. And I'm really excited to share that May is Better Speech and Hearing Month, as well as Mental Health Awareness Month. And 31 years ago, I was a case manager with the deaf back in Grand Rapids, Michigan for about 5 years. And through my journey to Hawaii, I ended up staying interpreting for a deaf man for over 10 years at the Unity Church of Hawaii and had the opportunity to live on a sailboat. So I asked what my next purpose was through meditation, and I was guided. I was going to write a series of children's sign language books with puppets. So here they are. Folk Manus is a company that has 200 puppets, and guess what? You can use your imagination. And imagination, we are sharing and shifting that word around the Happy Neighborhood projects, where I am a co-host, sign language interpreter on HNP Ability on Thursday. So again, thank you so much, Zach, for hosting this. Compassionate Citizens, love to hear your story. And well, my story is being developed. I'm being federally trademarked by our another host, Dr. Liddy, who's an intellectual property attorney out of Orlando, who later this evening is hosting tax seminars, and how to build your business credit repair is a topic tonight. So I'm so grateful that she is protecting all this work. And we will be trademarked. Again, it's the Acts of Kindness series. And I just had a dual one-on-one business meeting with my web designer, who's another host of Happy Neighborhood Projects. That's Brian Roosh. And Trevor Gibbs out of Orlando is American Disabilities Auditor, to make sure that websites are ADA compliant, and designs mobile apps and QR codes, who has gifted me a new QR code with my Acts of Kindness series rainbow hand logo. So for some of you, I know you can't see me, but when you do look at the logo, you'll see that there's a chain of Hawaiian islands there, because that's where all the creativity happened. It happened on the sailboat. And the universe just kept guiding me with all these names of positivity at the Unity Church of Hawaii, as well as my deaf friend and I would meet and go through the catalog and develop these characters' names, and how we can leave a legacy in this world, how we can leave a message of cleaning up the ocean, such as my first book, Underwater Acts of Kindness, to eliminate bullying and bring in peace, love, happiness, and thanks in my second book, Rabbit Acts of Kindness. And I'm currently working on a third book for climate change called Cool Acts of Kindness. So Zach and I have also had a one-on-one about the polar bears, how they are skating on ice. And I'm excited to tell you that the first name of that book chapter is called A Charity Revolution for climate change, in honor of Trevor Gibbs' organization, Charity Revolution. And the first chapter is pretty much done. So we're reviewing it and editing it. So, and we're uploading all the app games. I forgot to tell you too. So each chapter of my book has an online course of app games with the Folk Mantis puppets. So for example, here, this is Dr. Fingers. He's a finger spelling hermit crab. And I encourage everybody to go to the website and meet the characters, especially for a 30-day May is Better Speech and Hearing Month challenge. I encourage all of you to learn the 26 letters of the finger spelling alphabet. And the next time we meet, I want you to finger spell your full name to me. So go out and play is my tagline. And you can meet Chelsea, the courageous sign language chicken, for Harry, the hard of hearing rabbit, which really was me signing for my deaf friend Scott around the Hawaiian Islands, and Eve, the finger spelling bumblebee. And again, that is Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab. So check it out. Not only that, Zach, guess what? I got an email sent to me from Amazon. It says, hey, check out these new t-shirts. And guess what? They're mine. They're my design. So we have them uploaded now. So think of me as kind of like your next J.K. Rowling, Dora the Explorer, and we're going to retell like Hello Kitty. And no one has done that with sign language characters. And then we're going to be putting out again.
That's wonderful.
We're going to be doing what do you call it? Crowdfunding, so that we can bring these books into animation movies. And another co-host, Maria Zaney, way across the world in UK, who's doing so much humanitarian work, is a filmmaker with the United Nations with persons with disabilities. So we're starting to move and have chats, and I'm also grateful I'm starting to get more interviews, television as well, but that's on hold until I really get trademarked. So I'm so grateful and that I can shift this Happy Neighborhood projects and go to all these different places worldwide. And that's how I met all you. And thank you, Kurt Roskoff, Compassionate Citizens, Transform You Media, Marcus, for having these weekly several podcasts and opportunity to speak and just expand on what's happening. And you guys can all see the growth from thought to action. So back to you, Zach. Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah,
so
no
go
problem.
out and play.
And Marianne and I have been in discussion to try to find a way that Community Pay It Forward is also part of her world and trying to help her get out there. So we're hoping to really help her out that way. So, Randy, I have a question for you.
Sure.
Real quick. What got you started on, we all know art is what you do. What got you into saying, this is it? This is how I want to spend the rest of my life, selling and presenting my art to people?
Well, art and gift were, I guess it was really my father, because I had enjoyed art years ago, didn't kind of did other things. And he said to me, it was 2014, you really enjoyed art, and I don't think you've done watercolor. Why don't you sign up for a class? So I did. And then after, people said to you, maybe, because I had been done insurance for a bit, maybe you should think about doing something with art. And initially it kind of piggybacked off of a Fine Art America, which unless you pay a fortune, you don't get up there. And their products, I got a tote bag from my father. He said, this isn't great quality. And, pick color isn't great. Why don't you find places that can make giftware featuring your designs, look around. And my designs, by the way, I use non-toxic pigments, which are very bright. The motto is the company is that we have uplifting giftware. Even if it's something on social isolation or whatever is the topic, basically most of our designs make people feel good. And it's really art for the everyday. The motto is making every day special, so that you can have a piece of artwork that's just something you might want to look at and, kind of will cheer you up and make you feel happy. So in terms of
art is one of those things that everybody takes, and everybody has their own taste in art. We know this, but there's always something out there that you won't think is really in your own personal alignment, but you're going to see it and it's just going to knock you backwards. And I think that that's one of the great things, that people can work with art, and they're not pigeonholed into one certain genre. You can move from thing to thing. And Marianne, you kind of get to do this with books too. You get to take and yeah, there's a similar theme, but different subjects all the time. Marianne, what made you write your first book?
Well, it was kind of like I said, I was sitting at the Unity Church of Hawaii, and we do meditation on Wednesdays, where I became a Reiki master with my deaf friend Scott. So we were healers and energizing and learning to meditate. I was injured in an auto accident after I worked with the deaf many years later. And so I was struggling with my own hearing loss, back pain, neck, vertigo. So I was just working on my hearing house, so to speak, because I didn't want to use some of the negative stuff that, which we do as hearing impaired. And I asked Reverend Sky, the late Reverend Sky, I said, in the deaf community, we say hearing impaired, and that's kind of a negative. How am I going to shift these mind thought to action? And he's like, you're working on your hearing health. And I said, okay. And so I went into meditation, and it kept coming up. You're writing a series of books with sign language and puppets. And I laughed. And I said, well, how, where, who, what, when, and where, and how, why? And if it comes to you, it's really for yours to do. This is source energy, which I got to learn more about. So what I did was I took that scenario of my auto accident, where I was sitting in a hotel lobby, the manager lost control and drove her SUV through the wall behind me, which I believe was due to texting.
I'm sorry.
So I shifted that to create the story about a whale, and the whale gets injured in a glow in the dark party, which we just uploaded that app game. Very colorful, by the way. It's at 8:00. It's dark. And I paralleled the story so that we could share the message. So, of being careful, and there are boating accidents, people can get injured. And what kind of life are you going to have after that? You got to overcome it. And Noah, the whale, knows that he's going to be a father. He has to search for food. He is a provider, and he sees all this garbage, and he starts crying. And while he's rehabilitating in the shipping clinic with Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab, he saw all the other children crying too, and wanted to be back in their school, and just like children in a children's hospital. So also the idea was to build an aquarium tank for a hospital with the partners of Animal Planet TV show Tank Guys. So I wrote that first book for the Animal Planet Tank Guys in Vegas.
Wow.
They had a segment. They were building a children's hospital tank back in Detroit, Michigan. And I used to be a medical sales rep too. I called on pediatricians, pulmonologists, and allergists before the accident. And my counterpart called on it. So I just, the creativity started flowing and it was just like a rush. And then the universe provided. We had Suzanne Sims that we went on dolphin swims with me and Scott. We still were out. So, you know, I have a hearing loss. He lost his hearing at age 7. And speaks very well and had a lot of speech therapy. And Suzanne was our writer, or well, she now is my writer. So we got to go around the islands. We sailed and did events, concerts. You know, he could feel the vibration. And Lucy sang at the church, and she just had this angelic voice. And so it's like the universe gave me the soundtrack, and that's when I came back from my first book signing tour in 2017. They launched another album and I just started crying because they're all the messages of peace, love, happiness, and thanks, forgiveness. And we have a frog. We talk about forgiveness.
Yeah.
And we use those kind of play on words. And it just
wonderful.
really got to be a lot of fun working with four of us, and Lucy's and the Perfect Wave Band. And I found my purpose. So maybe it is kind of like a hobby, but I do see this again that, you know, no one has done anything in sign language and animation movies. So why can't I be the next J.K. Rowling? Why can't I be the next Dora the Explorer? And why can't I be the, next Hello Kitty? And there's 450 million hard of hearing deaf people worldwide. And we
That's
have
a lot.
millions of moms and dads coming home from being of service now who can't hear their own children or grandchildren. So the idea and the concept was I got put on the social emotional learning list. And if all classroom teachers can get my books from a company called Donors Choose, or an organization, and my girlfriend is a special ed teacher, when I got back, she told me about it. She requested the book. She got funded in 2 weeks, 50 books. So guess what? I went out, my book signed, they read it, they knew the characters, they couldn't wait to meet the puppets. And I got to teach the fingerspelling alphabet, and we passed around the puppets and talked what the class was doing for ocean cleanup. And if not, a lot of them, lower economic area in the part of Hawaii where they could bring these books and read them to their siblings or their grandparents, tutus, uncles, aunties, and help with literacy. So everybody wins with this and trying paying it forward message. And that's also too, Marilyn told me that some of the students started going out to the beach and starting picking up plastic, picking up garbage at the bus stop. So, we're leaving that messages, and we had great fun. So now the good news is they're on the website now. How cool is that? I used that stimulus money that we got during pandemic. We were locked down big time in Hawaii, and I used that money to create the app game, create the videos, create these Fiverr characters to, redesign the books, get trademarked, and so that we can leave a legacy with it. So again, thank you for letting me share the stories. It's just so much fun to share all this and have so much support again with Happy Neighborhood Projects, Transform You Media, Kurt Roskoff, and Emily. You guys are amazing, and Zach, you too. Pay it forward.
No, thank you. This is a question for both of you ladies.
Sure.
What would you each say to somebody who says, I have a talent, but I don't know if I can do anything with this talent? What would you say to them? Because I think that if you waste a talent, you never know what you can do. So
I mean, I would go ahead and do it. I've actually written a number of books, and I waited too long on one because it has to do with a Chinese American person, but I'm trying to get that done through Ingram actually, because a lot of agents aren't doing that now. But I think writing is wonderful. Marion said, yeah, I basically wasn't really doing much with them and now trying to do something, because if you don't do anything about it, nobody will. I think if you have a talent, it doesn't hurt. You have nothing to lose. I think it's always important to try to develop it. And if you want to start a business doing something, yeah, maybe it takes time to move ahead, but you just have to start meeting people and doing whatever you can. Marianne has incredible energy. It's quite amazing.
Right, yes, she does.
Unbelievable. But yeah, no, I think it's important. I kind of, on my writing, I put some things on Amazon. Like I have a book called Everyday Poems. Wrote it years ago, and I just kind of had it, and I basically published on Amazon just so I wouldn't lose the manuscripts, but without advertising. But I am on this one novel that people say, yeah, you miss, the agents aren't looking for stuff on China now, but it's good. Get out there. So in order to get into a bookshop.org and places, I have to do the the formal stuff with the ISBN and all the rigmarole. And it's a bit of a pain. I'm going through it right now, but I want that book out there because I think it's something that would make possibly a good movie. I think it actually be popular in China as well as here, but it's a pre-COVID story, but it has to do with cultural identity and a lot of other things. And the point is, I thought, if you don't get out there and try to do something, then it will never happen, and you have nothing to lose. And I was going to ask Marianne, by the way, if she's on the publishing, is your stuff all online, or have you gone through Ingram or Amazon, or what? Where have you on your books?
Yeah, well, everything is all on Amazon. We self-published and directed it up to Kindle. I did start out with a retired Navy photographer who was a student at HPU. He would host weekly meetups, which was great because it got the ideas flowing and all that to see some of that stuff, and helped me design my own clothing line. So I saw the unlimited potential. Things have shifted. I got federally trademarked with Dr. Liddy. I found out some of the stuff in Hawaii was not valid, so to speak, to apply at a federal level. So we've had to shift that over, and I changed the trademarking name. And then I was introduced to Fiverr, and Fiverr took it off like immediately with me. I mean, I saw from production. So I'm grateful. I worked with a student, but I got things done in 2 weeks with Fiverr. And Fiverr is like a graphic company. They have so many people in there. One, they do book. Well, I hired a guy to redo the book designs inside and out. Okay. So that cost several thousands of dollars, so to speak, but it was worth it because it got it done. And I'm not using illustration. Okay. It's because I want people to pick up the puppets, but you see the puppets and they have to be specifically looking at each other. And then I have another designer. She's done my flyers. So when you go to the website, she's got not only the book, the lyrics, the musicians, you see the characters, you see the online courses. I pay $5 for a flyer for that. Okay. I can't go wrong and for what they're priced. Now, another guy I hired to write the Indiegogo campaign, and I tried to raise $20,000 last year, but I didn't make it. So I still have that, and Trevor and I are going to upload that again. And the app game developer, I started out with one game, and he uploaded it. Then I had to pay a membership fee to Apple and Google to upload them. And so then I pay him to create the games of the chapters. And it's like Christmas, because the thing is I give him the stuff and he knows it. And then I wake up the next day and there's the information. And then I got to approve it and change colors. And it's really a challenge. Of course, it's a challenge because you got to make sure now that you're ADA compliant, American Disabilities Act. If not, you can receive hefty fines, up to $100,000. So a lot of the people who have done this really need to think back. You need to think about colors. What colors are used? Person may be colorblind. Men over 50, Zach, tend to acquire color blindness. And we have people speaking with Happy Neighborhood Projects. So Trevor was just there to help me out doing all that stuff too. And so there's a lot of thought to action to put in it, but like I said, I wake up, it's like Christmas. The music, oh my god, I got music on these app games. I'm like listening to saxophone on the new one. And Zach, what I'm doing now too is all the games are free. Other games are free now. We're doing it for Edwin's birthday, May has Better Speech and Hearing Month, and Mental Health Awareness Month. So I'm looking for people to give me 5-star reviews. Again, get these out. All classroom teachers can get copies of my books from DonorsChoose.org. So go out and play. But yeah, it is. It's fun. And what we do in the second book too, in Rabbit Acts of Kindness, where Harry the Hard of Hearing Rabbit's in a class with his other classmates, and we have a blind grasshopper named Blind Faith, and he's got they're glove puppets, but part of their journey too is they make a vision board. Okay, so we talk about vision boards and bringing in your markers, your crayons, sitting down, that thought to action, because they got to sail back from Rabbit Island, where they were bullied, back to Magic Island. And how are they going to do it? How are they going to design this boat? And and I do the same thing too. We had vision board classes at Unity Church of Hawaii, and pulling things out in magazines and putting it there. And you know what? some of those things really did happen to me in Hawaii. I was gifted trips to different parts of the islands because I met a retired Navy diver, EOD. And guess what? He bought a 36-foot sailboat. I got to do my sailing book signing.
Wow.
So it's the power and the vibration also too that you put into a lot of the work and all that. So yes, and frequencies and auras and colors too. I have a character of Green Heron. Her name is Cora, the aura reader. So there's different colors with red and orange and how they make you feel, and fiery and flame thrower, whatever you want to say. And so it's just, I like to dig in deep too and research about different topics like that. And especially now I'm learning more about climate change and how we're going to tie these kind of things in to leave them, understandable message of what's going on, and forgiveness to the people who have done this. And again, it's a peace, love, happiness, and thanks, so that y'all feel good at the end. But yeah,
that's great. That's great. I'm sure that some of what you're doing too, like it will help deaf children, but also children who are not, to understand. I mean, everybody. Oh,
definitely the autistic community too, as well. It's nonverbal communication. So, and sign language is a solution for social spatial distancing, especially for schools. We all went through it. Doesn't mean we've all had the social spatial distance for 6 feet. How hard was it for you to hear and understand that cash register clerk now?
I'm horrifically nearsighted, so I have good hearing. But yeah, I hear you on that. But I know my father has not very good hearing, so I know. In fact, I don't think his hearing aid is working well enough. I didn't know if there's anything newer out there. I don't think his person's doing a good enough job, but the person
is the battery low?
Apparently it isn't, but I mean on the phone, because after my son said, like, why are you shrieking? I'm horrifically nearsighted. So my hearing is very good, but my vision is, I mean, I can manage pretty well without them off, but they're really, I mean, they would be like this if they weren't, with the that ultra thin bit, whatever. So I mean, everybody has something and not here and not something there. But it's interesting too what you mentioned on your meditation, because I'd had some injuries. I had something getting over from something falling on a jaw, whatever, and meditation and certain things that just make you feel good are really great. It's just, when you're distracted and can do more positive things to not focus on the not good.
Right, exactly. And again, when you raise your vibrations, there's a lot of vibrations to help with pain and tinnitus, ringing in the ears, just changing your auras, just shifting your energy. I just, some days we have some mornings.
Thoughts. Yeah. Shifting your thoughts does so much for your health and well-being. I mean, it truly is. And it's sometimes it's kind of hard to believe that when somebody says it, but when you really put it into practice, you put all that stuff into practice, it's amazing what it'll teach you. So, but hey, ladies, I greatly appreciate both of you guys joining us today for Compassionate Citizen.
Thank you.
Marianne, you brought it up, and I wanted to put this out there. You've mentioned Trevor a couple times. Trevor is one of our wonderful Pay It Forward partners. He's one of our Pay It Forward family partners. And if your website, if you have any questions about your website being ADA compliant, you need to get a hold of these gentlemen. They will look at it for free, will not cost you anything, and they will talk to you about what you need to do. There are unscrupulous lawyers out there who are suing people because they're not ADA compliant. And I hate to say this, that money's not going to ADA services. It's going to make lawyers rich, and they're going to find you because that's how they're making their money. So make sure that you check with them. This is not a joke. Plus, you should really be considerate of people with other abilities. Ability restrictions, because they want to shop with you as well, and you don't want to be leaving anybody out. So make sure that you check out Trevor right there. He's a great partner of ours. He's a great friend of ours, and like Marianne said, it's an invaluable tool to use, because you don't want to boot anybody out because they can't read your website. So make sure that you get that taken care of.
So I don't quite, in other words, if people like are interested in something, basically I usually get contacted and deal with them directly anyway. The website is, you have to have a website because if I buy anything, I look to see, is this place legitimate? But, but usually that would be, it's usually like either it's online or on the phone or whatever it is. So I think I have contact information there. So if somebody couldn't hear, if they write, I've had sales just online. People just typed it, and I don't even know if they can hear with businesses. So, yeah, because the website really is small. 99.9% is not, if my sales I do are off the website, just so people look, they see what's there, and somebody could write, I'm interested. Yeah, I was thinking on the sales that I've done, most of the sales I've done, I haven't even talked to anybody. So you could be hard of hearing or deaf, and you could still buy my products.
Well,
Oh, definitely.
yeah, it's definitely something that you need to pay attention to.
So in other words, so there should be a notice somewhere that that if someone is hard of hearing, whatever, sales. Because I think I know I did put on there for business or bulk sales to please contact, Randy Lou at randylouart.com, or if you have any questions. So, yeah. I don't even know what most of the people sound like, because I've never spoken to them on the sales, to be honest. Obviously they have to be able to see. If they can't see, someone can't see and still, I guess, I wouldn't find out, but they don't have to be able to hear to buy our products.
One of the problems when people are building their own website, if you don't follow the structure when you're building that website, if you use column 1, column 3, column 2, column 6, column 5, things will get read out of order. And if you are vision impaired, you won't understand listening to the website. One of the great things with what Trevor does is he sits there and he makes sure that when somebody is using the vision impaired on your website, it's like reading it. A person who's got full vision can read it right down the line to where everything is where it needs to be. I
can ask him about it. I can ask what would be, involved on that. I do have, except for the products that are discontinued at the end, there's just one product at a time, because someone mentioned, why don't you have a lot of teeny ones in there in the alternates? I said, no, it's too hard to see. So, you go down one at a time to make it easier for people to look at. But no, I'll ask them if they're inexpensively do it. That's a good idea. As I said, most of the time, the way things are everything has to be done separately. But I will So what is his information?
We'll send it to you. I'll ask Emily to please send it to you on a website. And this right here is one way that you can get a hold of them. But like I said, I will have Emily, I will beg her to send you an email with that information.
Okay, because we can't afford to spend, large amounts of money on that, but maybe there's a way to do it inexpensively. I'm sure be happy to do that.
If there's any way to get it done, Trevor will help you out. I promise.
Okay, sure.
So, can you please give me your website one more time? How do people get a hold of you?
Yes. Well, the email is Randy, RANDY. Use the left hand because I'm using the right one too much. I had an injury. That's why I had to have that PRP. So I should hopefully be fully recovered. Just for a moment. But I do meditation like Marianne because it's okay.
I'm into sound baths now. They got one that has a sound bath that hits all the frequencies, and it really feels like it's crystal bowls, and you really can feel your body shift. Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. So it's randylouart.com, correct?
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining us. And then, Marianne, how do they get a hold of you?
It's the Acts of Kindness series.com. And Zach, if you can be kind, you can share with your son over in Japan that all his students can go play the games for free and test the waters with Dr. Fingers, the finger spelling hermit crab, and give us a 5-star review. Again, that's actsofkindnessseries.com.
Well, that sounds great. Ladies, again, thank you very much for joining us today on Compassionate Citizens. We ask everybody to join us again next week, where we're going to be learning more about some of the great things that are going on in our communities everywhere, making lives better. My name is Zach. I've been joined by two wonderful, wonderful guests, Marianne of Waikiki and Randy Lou of Randy Lou Pastels and Watercolor. For Emily Gomer, for Sarah Goodell, my name is Zach Clayton, and we will see you next time. Please remember, take care of somebody out there. We're all humans. We all need help once in a while. Let's get together. When we come together, no one has to go it alone. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Bye.
Mahalo.